Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our journey of cognitive mastery. Most of us navigate the world using a very limited set of tools. We rely on our intuition, our past experiences, or the advice of others. But the problem is, our intuition is often biased, and our experiences are limited. We are essentially trying to solve complex, 21st century problems using a mental operating system that hasn't been updated in years. But what if you could upgrade that operating system? What if you had a toolkit of mental models, proven frameworks for thinking that allow you to strip away the noise and see the world as it truly is? A mental model is a representation of how something works. It is a lens that allows you to simplify complexity and find the most efficient path to a solution. Instead of guessing, you begin to calculate. Instead of reacting, you begin to strategize. In today's shadowing session, we will explore the architecture of high-level thinking. We will dive into first principles, the art of inversion, and the Pareto Principle. Prepare your intellect. Sharpen your focus. Let us upgrade your brain's operating system. Part 1. The danger of a single lens. The great investor Charlie Munger once spoke about the man with a hammer syndrome. He said that to a man with a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. This is the danger of having only one mental model. If you are a lawyer, you see the world through the lens of law. If you are an engineer, you see it through the lens of efficiency. If you are an artist, you see it through the lens of aesthetics. While expertise is valuable, a single lens creates a blind spot. It leads to tunnel vision, where we force the world to fit our limited understanding. The secret to true wisdom is not having one great model, but building a latticework of mental models. This means collecting the most powerful ideas from multiple disciplines: biology, physics, psychology, economics, and history, and weaving them together. When you have a latticework of models, you don't just see a problem, you see a pattern. You stop looking for the right answer and start looking for the most accurate one. Part 2. First Principles Thinking. The most powerful tool in the toolkit of the visionary is first principles thinking. Most people think by analogy. They do things a certain way because that's how it's always been done. This is the path of the average. First principles thinking is the act of boiling a problem down to its most fundamental truths, the things we know for sure, and then building a new solution from the ground up. It is the art of deconstruction. Elon Musk used this to revolutionize space travel. Instead of buying expensive rockets, he asked, "What is a rocket made of?" Aluminum, titanium, copper, and carbon fiber. He realized the raw materials were only a fraction of the cost of the finished rocket. By thinking from first principles, he realized he could build the rockets himself for much cheaper. When you apply first principles to your life, you stop accepting the way things are and start asking why they are this way. You realize that most of the rules we follow are just suggestions. By breaking the world down to its basics, you gain the freedom to rebuild it better. Part 3. The Art of Inversion and the Pareto Principle. While first principles help us build, inversion helps us avoid failure. Inversion is the practice of thinking backward. Instead of asking, "How can I be successful?" the inversion thinker asks, "What would absolutely guarantee that I fail?" By listing everything that would lead to failure, procrastination, poor health, arrogance, lack of focus, you create a map of what to avoid. It is often much easier to avoid stupidity than it is to seek brilliance. By eliminating the negatives, you pave a clear path to the positive. Once you have cleared the path, you apply the Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20th rule. This principle states that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. Most people spend their lives obsessing over the 80% of tasks that only yield 20% of the results. They are busy, but they are not productive. The master of mental models identifies the vital few, the 20% of actions that move the needle the most. They ruthlessly eliminate the trivial and double down on the essential. They don't work more, they work more effectively. Part 4. Implementing the operating system. The final step is not learning the models, but implementing them. A model is useless if it stays in your head. It only becomes power when it is applied to reality. The goal is to develop a reflex for thinking. When you face a challenge, your brain should automatically ask, which model applies here? Should I use first principles to rebuild this? Should I use inversion to avoid failure? Or should I use the Pareto Principle to find the leverage point? This is the transition from being a passive observer to being an active architect of your life. You no longer feel overwhelmed by complexity because you have a system to dismantle it. You no longer feel lost in uncertainty because you have a map to navigate it. As you practice your English today, remember that language is the ultimate mental model. Every new phrase you master is a new way of framing a thought. Every nuance you capture is a new layer of precision. Fluency is the ability to switch lenses rapidly and gracefully. When you master the language, you master the tool that allows you to communicate your models to the world. We have reached the end of our session on mental models. I hope you now feel as though your mental horizon has expanded. Remember, your brain is the most powerful technology in the universe, but it requires the right software to function at its peak. Keep collecting models, keep questioning your assumptions, and never stop upgrading your operating system. If this session sharpened your thinking, please leave a like and subscribe to our community of cognitive masters. I would love to hear in the comments, which mental model, first principles, inversion, or the Pareto principle do you find most useful in your life right now? Thank you for your intellect, your focus, and your beautiful presence. Stay sharp, stay curious, and I will see you in the next session. Goodbye.